Alright guys, how's she going today? So she's a scorcher one today. It's about, I suppose about 9 o'clock or something like that. She's getting pretty late out, I guess. I don't know. So, but yeah, it got up to, well, with the wind, of course, the wind was kind of on the hot side too, so it got it up to about 107 degrees Fahrenheit. So she got pretty toasty warm here. Yeah, she definitely got hot. I ran to the farm this morning to open the windows on the tractor. I forgot the grain truck, but I did the tractor just because I didn't want glass to blow out if it should get super hot. You know, that's how you can blow glass out. If it gets blistering too hot in there, it'll pop the glass. So figured cheap insurance, open the windows, call it good enough. But they're talking storms tomorrow. There's 50% chance. But they're talking mostly in the afternoon. But I think with heat like this, they could come early in the morning. So I don't know. I might run out there and shut them tonight. I want to go back out there again. This will be technically my third time being out today. Once was early this morning. Like I said, to open the windows. And then I went out again around 6. Checked up on the electric fence and stuff to make sure that nobody knocked it over. And then I'm going to go out again tonight to shut the windows just in case the storm should come, and then I'm going to hang my signs back up. This sign, I finally got to this sign. This is the one that was underwater for a month. This is the one that was on the southwest corner of our property. So it was underwater for, you know, a good month. Didn't fare very well. The sign was still there, surprisingly, but she was pretty caked up with mud, and there was no saving the sign because it was pretty. I mean, here's the back side of it. You know, it looks like complete shit, but the front side, she's pretty much done. There's nothing left to it. So, I mean, it looks like you could just wash it and hang it back up, but it's so embedded into the sign that there's no way I can clean that out. So it sucks too, because that sign was put up on 4/8 of 2022, so it wasn't really that old of a sign. So it's really not that. It wasn't really all that old, but I can get usually a good 2 years out of these signs, depending on what the weather really does to them. That one didn't last very long because it was underwater for so damn long. I mean, of course, the wood doesn't look like it's rotten, because I mean I did paint this, but I mean the paint is it probably would rub off, but I don't know, there's no cleaning that, you know, so it's just gonna have to just run it for as long as I can, and then make another piece. I got one more board left I can make another sign holder out of, and then after that I gotta go to the lumberyard and get more. So and then this one this is the other one that I'm working on. I already had this one up, but you can see it's missing the corner. I took a little chunk out of it because I nailed it with the big tractor, because I tried to go around it because the ramp was still on the dike there. It was still kind of wet, so I figured, well, I might sink in and make some pretty nasty ruts. So I figured, well, if I go around it, which means I would go on the left side of that sign, it'd be more firmer ground. I thought I was far away enough, but I guess apparently not, and here I nicked it. So I ripped the corner off. So there's nothing I can really do with that. I just painted up the battle scar and hopefully slowed down any chances of water getting in, but that is about as good as it's going to get. That one's actually going to go somewhere else because it's ugly. So I'm going to go put that somewhere else. So actually that one might stay there for another couple days yet, because the other one I can't get to yet because it's still way too muddy. But I think that one I could put back up. I'll have to walk it, I guess, but whatever. So what else is going on besides fixing up signs and putting them back up. They sent me the correct stud for the CB antenna. So this is the old one that they sent me originally, but it wasn't the right stud. It would work if you had the firing cable, which I don't have, so it wasn't going to work in my case. So they were nice enough to send me that for no charge. I already installed it, and you can see the sprayer's back on. So I put the new stud in. I haven't put the antenna back on yet because I'm also going to order a quick disconnect too, so I can quickly disconnect my antenna for when I want to put the sprayer back on. So that's why the antenna's not back on. But you can see the sprayer's back on because there were some thistles in the ex-mayor's field right there in the corner by our old barn. And they were getting pretty tall and nasty, so I figured, well, I got a little bit of chemical left. I could make up, I only made up about 20 gallons. I don't think I was going to have enough chemical to make 25 gallons worth of water strong enough to kill weeds. So what I did is I just kind of downed the water. So instead of 25 gallons, I made 20 gallons. So that would make this chemical a little bit stronger than it really needs to be. But that's just because I was a little bit low on chemical. I didn't have quite 1 quart. I usually put in 1 quart for every 25 gallons that I make. But, that takes a lot of chemical too when you got to make up 25 gallons. But you can do a lot too with 25 gallons. I mean, I'm impressed with the amount of spraying I've done so far with it. This is only its real first summer being used because I bought it last fall. I only got to run maybe 25, or maybe even close to 50 gallons through it, and that was it for the year because it was getting so late in the year last fall to even be spraying. But I did a little bit of spraying anyway, but just to get a feel for it. And it did, it did pretty good. It's only, the booms are only 140 inches wide. That's how much ground it can cover. But it's still way more than enough, for what I'm doing. But I had to spray, not the whole entire field, but a couple sections of it because they were just hammered with thistles. And and the cows weren't going to eat them anyway. If the cows would eat thistles, then I wouldn't spray them. But since they don't like it, obviously because it's a pokey weed. But, it just looks ugly. And that's going to cause seeding. And then that's going to go into our hay fields over time. So, like I said, I didn't spray the whole field, obviously, because the cows are out there feeding off it. And I didn't want them to eat too much chemical and get sick off it. So, very well, I sprayed one section along our old barn there. Made a few rounds there, and then I waited about another day or two, and I went back out there and sprayed some other areas that were a little thick. I didn't do the whole field, obviously. I only spray when I see weeds worth spraying. If you see one thistle, you should spray it because it's going to make a hell of a mess later on. But yeah, I just don't really, bother. I only spray the big piles, and then Canadian thistle, I'll spray them even if it's just one plant, because they really seed like a motherfucker, and they really get tall too, so they take over really quick. So, but for the Canadian or the regular thistles, I sprayed what I could for now. There's about 5 gallons left in that sprayer. I'm probably going to go out again, spray a little bit more in the ex-mayor's field there, just to get rid of that chemical, because I don't want chemical in my sprayer too long. That's already been in there for like 3-4 days. But I think you can keep chemical in your sprayer. It's just as long as you mix it back up again after it sits for a while. I think some people say not to even leave chemical in your sprayer because it could, I guess, rot the sprayer out or something, but I don't know. I think I swallowed a freaking mosquito. That's the first time that's happened yet this year, but they're all fucking flying around me. I don't have my spray on me, so, but yeah, so Another thing that's going on is I got a busted nozzle on my sprayer too. I'm not really sure how the hell that happened. It's very irritating. It looks like it's been dragging on the ground for 10 years by how it's looking. I think it's that one here, I think. Yeah. So it'd be this nozzle here. You probably can't really see it, but it's got a mark on it where it looks like it's been dragging on an angle and like it's been dragging on concrete for 10 years. It's just, I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. So I think I can order that part, because I'm probably going to order a spare too, because who knows if I end up breaking more throughout the year. But these guys here have a website, and then when I ordered the book, or when I bought the sprayer, it came with a book and it has a breakdown of all the parts that are in the sprayer and with their part numbers. So I think if I can go on their website, I think I can order that nozzle for that. I don't know how much they're going to cost, but it sucks because that one nozzle, it does more just dripping and pouring out than actual spraying. It does a little bit of spraying, but it's mostly just dumping chemical out, so it's kind of just a waste of chemical. But I didn't really have much of a choice because I had to spray. It's either spray now or don't spray at all, and then have weeds can take over your planet and your land. So, you know, for a little bit of chemical that I was going to waste, it was worth it. So, but I don't know. So I'm going to replace that nozzle at some point. I don't know when, but I guess whenever I get around to buying parts, I guess. So, and then the other thing is, the CB radio and the 15-6 quit working for some reason. I took it out. I tested it. I tested it there in the tractor. I don't know what was going on there, but then I took it to the house, hooked it up to the power supply, and the radio kicked on. So the radio was working. I just don't know what was going on in the tractor. So I'm guessing I had a dirty connection somewhere, either the positive or the ground. It was just dirty enough that it wasn't, for some reason, wasn't working, even though it was working just fine when I put it back in there. But I don't know. Something must have gotten dirty, and then it didn't have a good connection. And so I cleaned it all back up and put it back in there. I tested it. I talked to Mother. We both sounded kind of weak. I got a deer here. Mother said I sounded kind of staticky and a little bit on the weak side. So I'm going to do my little mod, because I actually undid my mod. I don't know why. I had the radio torn apart because I was trying to figure out, did a lightning bolt hit it? Because we did have some strong lightning storms a few days ago, and you know, they could easily fry a radio. But I'm thinking if it hit the CB antenna, it should have fried the tractor too. But it could have been a very small lightning bolt, like a little pinky-sized lightning thing. You know, maybe it was just enough to damage the radio, but it didn't damage anything else, you know. So I don't really know, but so I don't know. But then we got it to work. I put it back in there. Then my damn mic wasn't working. And I was trying, you could hear the radio clicking on like it wanted to transmit, but then the lights weren't showing up saying that I was transmitting, and Mother couldn't hear me. So I started dicking around with the cable for the mic. It seems like if you move it a certain way, then it kicks in and then it kicks out. So I think I got a bad mic, which is, I mean, not acceptable, but it's acceptable because even Cobra radios, you know, they make cheap mics, but they make a good radio. So I think I'm going to buy another one. It'll probably be like an aftermarket one or something. It's not going to be another Cobra, but the one I found online on eBay was a noise canceling. I don't know how good they are, but I kind of liked it because it had the American flag paint job done to it. So kind of might be worth it. It's just a standard 4-pin connection. So, and he had a list of all the radios that it would work for, and my radio was on there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and order that and fix that mic issue, and that should get rid of some extra static and stuff too. I don't know how good that actually works, but whatever, it's worth it anyway. So And then for Big Red, I don't know. You can still buy those same Cobra radios that I have in the 1586 now, new. But one guy wants like $100 for them, and another guy wants a little bit cheaper. But yeah, so it was just gonna go right here where I had it originally. But I don't know. So I don't know when I'm gonna do that, but I am gonna do it. It needs to be done. As long as I get a CB in Big Red and the 1586, and they work good enough, I'll be okay with it. As long as I can talk a couple of miles, I'll be all right with it. Just in case, we have some type of a family emergency. That's the only reason why I got into CBs, was because of what happened a few years ago, and could have been a lot worse if I was far from home. Lucky I was just here in the shop, but it could happen when I'm far from home. I could be helping out the young guy raking hay somewhere, and I may be miles away from home. Of course, after a certain amount of miles, the CBs are not going to work. But that's why I was going to switch over to GMRS, because you could get more range out of them, way more range. But the price tag is what's killing me. So if Midland was willing to send me some radios for free, to test them, fine, I'd probably do it. I mean, I have the antennas. All I need is just a new set of coax cables and stuff. So if they just sent me the coax and in the radios, the ones that I want, then sure, I'd give them a try. But other than that, it's going to have to be a day, I guess, when I make tons and tons and tons of money. Either I sell like 10 bowls in 1 year, or I don't know. But that's the only way I'd ever upgrade, is if I came into a lot of money at one time where I could do everything. And then the Blazer, that's going to get a CB in it too. It actually works out really good, because the price wise isn't really good, but it works out good because there's a guy on there on eBay selling a kit. He's selling my favorite kind of radio, which is the newer style Cobra radios, not the new ones with the cop radar bullshit in it. It's just their nicest one, the 29, whatever the fuck it is, the color display, whatever thingy. But he's selling that, which is, I like those radios. Obviously, I have one as my base station radio. And then he's also selling with it a Wilson 1000, which is a 62-inch whip magnet mount antenna. And that's what I was going to put in the Blazer, was that exact same setup. But how long that will be there, I don't know, because he wants like $250 for it. And then he says if you want the radio tuned, for more power output and better sounding stuff, he would tack on like another $70 or something, whatever the hell it was, to just tune the radio. Fuck it, I'll just take it stock. So, but yeah, so that works out. But like I said, he wanted like $250 for a complete set, which is reasonable for what everything costs. But the Blazer's not priority right now. It's Big Red and the 1586 in the house. So the house has already been done, but the 102-inch whip is not the ideal antenna. I mean, it says that we're transmitting okay, so I can roll on with it for the year, which I will. I'll probably end up rolling on with it until probably next summer. So it won't be a big deal then, but yeah. So what else is going on? Yeah, CBs, and I know there's some other things I'm freaking forgetting again, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, so I'm trying to think of what the hell else there was, but I can't remember. I know there's a bunch of other shit too, but yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm trying to remember what the hell else there was, but unfortunately my brain went dead now. So, but I guess whenever we get a CB put in this thing too on Big Red here, I don't know, but sooner we get it done the better. But didn't really do too much today because it was just too freaking hot. So it's cooled off quite a bit now, but fortunately the winds have kind of slowed down too a little bit. They were way windier earlier, but the wind was so damn hot too, so that's why it made things so much more miserable. But what are you going to do? So yeah, other than that, I don't know. We still working on the big square field too. We're still cleaning that out. We managed to get a couple of loads out. There's more there than I thought, over by the bridge. We managed to get a couple of loads out, but unfortunately then the cows got out as well, and they were roaming out in the big, along the tree lines there. So we were trying to get them back in. That took about an hour because they were fighting, not wanting to go back in. Couldn't figure out why the damn electric fence kept getting knocked down all the time. Well, this time we think it was because the fence wasn't even hot to begin with, because it was touching another fence, and we just, again, didn't realize it. So then the cows touched it, and then they realized they weren't getting shocked. So then my uncle thinks that they probably tried to jump it because they knew it was dead, so they tried to jump it, ended up catching it and pulling it down. So that took a while to get them back in, got the fence back up. They haven't gotten out since, and the fence hasn't been knocked down since, but we're going to try a trick. I know somebody here in town is doing the same thing, but they're not doing it to an electric fence. They're doing it just to an ordinary fence. But I've seen some people, this guy here anyway, they use those aluminum pie containers, or the pans, you know, like when you order a pie from the store, you get it from the store, it has the aluminum bottom thing to it. I think I'm gonna try that. Mother's working on a cake, on a pie right now. I don't know if she'll even remember to give me that aluminum thing, but I think I'm gonna get maybe some more at the Dollar General, because you can get them really cheap there, I think. And then we're gonna put them on the electric fence where the deer are jumping, and just kind of maybe randomly throughout. Maybe that would help kind of ID the fence a little bit better, just because, you know, it's such a thin wire, nobody can see it. I can't even see it from the top of the dike unless the sun's hitting it just right, which would have to be in the morning hours or late evening hours. It's the only time I can see it, so can't see it otherwise. So yeah, so we're gonna try that and just see if it does any good or not. I don't know, it might help, but I don't know how long those aluminum things would last. I have these things, but I feel like they might be just a bit too heavy. Especially if you have them to go throughout the length of the fence. So I don't think they're going to work, but they're made out of aluminum. Just some old popcorn container lids. I don't know what the hell I'm hanging on to them for. I don't even have that many. But I got the lids. I guess thinking maybe one day I'd use them for something, but I mean, they don't feel very heavy, but I think they're heavier than those pie container things. So, or, you know, those pans. So we're gonna try them. They're a little bit thinner, I think, and a little bit lighter. So I think if we put them kind of throughout the fence, maybe every other post or something in the middle, I don't know. Mostly probably just where the deer are jumping, because you can see where they're walking, because they got a perfectly good trail going there. So I think if we put one right there inside of where they're walking, maybe they would realize the fence is there and, you know, plan their jumps a little bit better instead of smashing into them. Freaking mosquitoes, get out of here. God damn. So other than that, I guess that's the only thing we can do. I don't really know what else we can do. It's just we need something to ID the fence a little bit better. You know, I don't know what the hardware would have to offer. I mean, I have these little things, these ground marking flags, but they do not last. You can maybe get a month or two out of them, and then they start shredding. So these little flag things here, you know, they just seem, they don't last. They just immediately fall apart. I mean, they'll last for, you know, maybe a month, but then if you get a really good wind going on, then they just get shredded immediately. So they're not going to work for that. So then I think the other thing I can think of is just use those aluminum pie pan things, and maybe that would work. You know, and then because they can move with the wind too. If you time them just right, they can move with the wind. So they're not just sitting there, you know, still. You know, they can just kind of flop with the wind a little bit. So other than that, I don't know. But we're going to get a few of those, and then we're waiting for Mother to finish off her pie, and then we can use that. At least maybe get us a start, but I don't know. So, other than that, guys, I don't know. That's pretty much it. That's really all I can do for now. So, before it gets too dark out, I'm going to go put another sign back up just so there's less to freaking deal with. I took one log today with Big Red as well, because I can get a little bit closer. I can get closer to the tree lines. Well, I can get next to the tree lines now. I got a route going now, so I still can't get into my trail because obviously that's still underwater, but I can get up. I can take my old trail that I had along the woods there. So it's still a little tacky in the spots where the sun can't get to it fully, but it's enough that I can drive through it without tearing it up. So, but they're talking storms tomorrow, so I don't know. That will get wet again, but it might dry out too. Look, there's a little bird there. So, well, yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I know I'm still forgetting some things, but I just can't remember everything, I guess. But that's what's going on there. So, I don't know when I'll put the CB antenna back on Big Red, but I got to get my quick disconnect put in first. I got to order that. And like I said, that's just so I can remove the antenna when I want to mount the sprayer on. Because I'm not going to sit there and unbolt that all the time. That's just stupid. So, get a quick disconnect, good enough. Order a new mic for the 1586 CB, because I don't know, that thing's, it's been working the last, I don't know, I've been checking it throughout the day when I've been out riding. It seems like it's working perfectly fine now, but I think it's just because I'm not moving the cable. The cable's sitting just right to where it's always working, but I think if I move it, well, then it's just going to disconnect. So, they're probably broken. It's probably got a broken wire in it somewhere, but whatever. They're not cheap, but they're cheap enough, I guess. So, oh, the other thing too, I tried out one of the easy outs. I did it on the 1586 because I don't want to do it on the Farmall, just because that's a very important thing that I'm trying to remove on the Farmall, and I don't really want to frick it up. So it was easier just to do it on the 15 on something that I don't really care about. But I tried to remove one of the broken hood bolts for the 1586's hood, but it was so seized in there that my easy outs were not going to take it out, and it actually broke the easy out. I don't think I'm going to trust these enough, because the ones that I have basically have 4 points of contact, whereas the other ones I've seen are like a screw. They have a thread on them like a screw, and then the more you're driving in, then the tighter it'll get, and so on and so on. They got a few other ones too. I think Harbor Freight's had the screw-on style. I don't, especially for that bolt, the stud. I don't trust that 4-point square style. I don't trust it enough. I know one guy said to weld a nut onto the stud, and then heat the stud up by heating up the block with a torch. I don't think that's going to work, because the thing broke off just below the block. It would have to be a pretty small nut to weld on there, and then you would have to have your welder cranked up so damn bloody high that you might torch the freaking head, or the motor, the block. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just soaking it in PB Blaster, just hoping that maybe it would, drip down. It looks like it's not even moving, so that's obviously not going to do me any good, but I'm hoping that it'll drip down, get to the threads, soften up whatever's in the threads, and then I'm going to get the correct style of easy outs, and then I'm going to try that. I'll probably heat it up some too with the torch, the block, just to kind of maybe help make it a little bit easier. So, because if I fuck that up, that's going to be a very expensive thing to repair. It may not even get repaired then. You're better off just either sending it in somewhere and having a professional do it, which will cost a shit ton of cash, or getting another engine for it, which is another very expensive thing to do and will not happen. Unless somebody gives me like $10 million, it's not going to happen. So, I really have to play my cards, I think, with this one, because it's a very important piece to try to remove. Finding a stud, I don't think would be all that hard, because I imagine Steiner has them. I don't see them on their catalog, but I imagine it's on their website, because the catalog I was looking at is like 3 years old. I got a newer version of it, but I'm just too fucking lazy to pull it out. So, but I imagine they have the correct studs for these type of tractors, because they have them for the other sizes, so I'm sure they have them too for this little one. But I don't know, I only have really one chance to get it right, and if I fuck it up, well, then I'm screwed. So I'm pretty nervous. I'm pissed off because it happened, but I'm also very nervous because I've never really done this before, and it can really, you know, I'm just afraid I might fuck it up and then it's no good, and then the engine's pretty much destroyed over just a freaking stud that I can't get out. So I think I'm just going to order the correct style of remover, and then get some left-handed drill bits. Again, Harbor Freight does have them. A guy said that they had them. They did. I looked it up myself. Quite a few hours before he even left a comment saying that. I looked it up, and they have them. They have left-handed drill bits, so I'm going to order a set of those as well. And then I'll drill it out, get the correct easy out, and then drive it in there, I guess. Screw it in there. I think you more or less screw it in there. And then I'm going to heat that son of a bitch up to its cherry red, and hopefully pray to God that it comes out. You know. So I just hope it comes out. I'm very nervous about it, you know. And I don't really have anybody here that has any experience working on these tractors. I don't even think the young guy would know how to do that, because I don't think he even works on tractors that freaking old. He has a Farmall Super M. It's either an M or a Super M, or it's a regular H or a Super H. It's one of those models, but I mean, but those tractors I think are a little bit newer than mine, so I don't know. But it's so nerve-wracking. I could talk to the young guy, you know, but he's going to be so busy getting ready for haying now. He's not going to have time to piss around with that. But maybe he can give me some pointers too. But I mean, I was able to get that one stud out because the nut wouldn't break free, so I ended up pulling the whole stud. Well, the studs weren't dirty. There wasn't any crap on the threads. So they're just torqued down really tight, but that's to be expected because they have to be. That's what keeps your engine together and keeps your engine from blowing apart. So those studs are a very important part of the engine, which I'm sure most of you guys know that, but to you engine newbies out there, you need to have your studs. They're very important. You don't have them, your engine flies apart immediately. So, and it might even cause severe leaking. If it doesn't blow apart, it's definitely going to piss a lot of oil because it's not a very tight seal. So I don't know. I'm definitely nervous, but hopefully we can get her done. So, but if not, well, then I guess so be it. There's nothing more you can really do. So, but what are you gonna do? So, but anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. I'm going to go and shut my tractor windows just so I don't have to deal with it in the morning, and then I'm going to put this sign back up. This one is almost ready, but I guess I can't get to the other post yet because it's still under water. So, well, it's not underwater, but the ground is very soupy. So, but yeah. Actually, I guess I could make up one more because I forgot I could do another one yet too. So I'm going to do that. The more I do now, the less I got to deal with later on in the summer. So, even though we're technically in summer now, but sure in the hell don't feel like it, you know. So, alright. So, anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. So, I guess have a good day and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.